Still Wakes the Deep is a 2024 horror game developed by the Chinese Room, in which you play as authentic Scottish gentleman and offshore oil rig worker Cameron McCleary. A quick note, the Chinese Room is actually based in Brighton, England, meaning Still Wakes the Deep is a game about Scottish people, made by English people, pretending to be Chinese. Now, let's get the offshore elephant in the room out of the way first. A video game voiced by actual Scottish voice actors on a unique and interesting claustrophobic setting for a horror game. Not only that, the main protagonist and his actor are Glaswegian, which is who I am and where I'm from. I've got an Irn Bru, conveniently just here to prove it. Tastes like pennies. I was very excited about this game, and credit to the Chinese Room, they knew exactly what they were doing with their marketing. Our Scottish boys and girls are front and centre of the Still Wakes the Deep marketing machine. Now originally the marketing had me believing this was some sort of psychological horror game, but knowing what I do know about Scotland, perhaps the true horror would simply be trying to get a bus home without being stabbed. Unfortunately for me, however, the one important aspect of the game that is not front and centre on the Steam page is the distinct lack of gameplay. That's right, this is a walking simulator. Fuck. Now I make this video with trepidation, as the collective consciousness seems to really love this game, regardless of how little engagement I find in video games that don't take advantage of being video games. And if you like walking simulators, then by all means, as my sister says, go off, hunty. Is that right? Yeah, is that good? No, I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, but I've been informed that RuPaul has the fastest car in that race. Best stats. Some people are saying that RuPaul is OP, that they should nerf RuPaul. But you know, I think RuPaul is the Ryu of the Drag Race series. Anyway, moving on. But I'm going to have to represent my experience today, as after just under 5 hours of gameplay and 26 of my own Scottish pounds, I am one very underwhelmed boy. You know, I would like to say that I was a little bit of a dafty. That's a Scottish word, it means silly. That this game in fact made it very clear that it is a walking simulator, and I should have steered clear from those rough gaming waters. But no, the game's Steam page in fact says that Still Wakes the Deep features, and I quote, 6 hours of terrifying gameplay. Well, A, it was barely 5, and B, it was barely gameplay. In defence of walking simulators, I get conceptually, if you've got a good narrative and presentation, in theory that can carry you alone. Who needs gameplay when your narrative is that good? Well, unfortunately the narrative isn't that good, and I've played many games with better narratives and really good gameplay. Still Wakes the Deep is, I think fair to say, completely carried by how fantastic the voice acting is.
Shut it, you clatty gobshite.
And I think in many months or years' time, this is the type of game that when the marketing and initial excitement of an authentic Scottish voice acting experience and a unique environment is no longer fused into people's skulls, folk will look at this game and think, You play as Cameron Kaz McCleary, an absolute ball-bag waster of a human who's evaded questioning from the... It's still really weird for me to say this, my local police force, Strathclyde Police Department. In a video game. After grievously assaulting someone, your family friend, godfather to your children, and your favourite overweight diabetic gentleman, Roy, is putting a good word with the people of the oil industry, and thus the police have been unable to contact you, what with being in the middle of the North Sea, 20 minutes away from awakening an eldritch being. The game begins with a sobering letter from Kaz's frustrated wife, expressing how Kaz's failure to face the police like a man, and running away to the oil rigs was an absolute wank move, and that she's ready for divorce. You then head off to breakfast, your ass is looking nice today, John, and experience the greatest disconnect between incredible looking character animation and PlayStation 2 quality imaginary food I've ever seen in a video game, before being summoned by, safe to say, your absolute of a boss.
Shut your gob, you Ned prick!
As you make your way across the oil platform, you meet your many co-workers of entertainingly various accents, including English, Irish, and that area of Scotland where even I cannot figure out what the fuck they're trying to say. Finally ready to have a word with the big man, you are treated to the most brutally well-animated bollocking by a higher-up I've ever experienced,
You bring the police to my door, to my rig.
All before a co-worker drills into something he should not have. One big shake later and the oil rig is introduced to a Lovecraftian growth, seeking to rip the rig apart and turn any humans not fallen into the sea into very sad spaghetti and meatballs. A very cool premise for a video game, I'm sure you'll agree. And it is a great shame that after this, nothing much of note really happens. Moment to moment, that is. As you might expect, there are a couple of quite nice set pieces and an ending that I'll admit I somewhat enjoyed, even if that was solely because of the A+ voice acting and not the moments that led to it. But generally speaking, that is, nothing really happens. And it's difficult to care about anything going on when the moment-to-moment objectives of the character are to go to a room and do a thing. Think about all your favourite video game stories or TV shows or books, it doesn't matter. All the powerful pieces of little storytelling involve characters going to do something memorable and then coming away with a change of some sort. You find a loved one, you rescue someone, you sacrifice something. That doesn't happen in Still Wakes the Deep. The only instances of notable events coinciding with your objective are stopping the actually, I have no idea what it's called. You know that arm of an oil rig that's like always burning? What is the flame on the end of an oil rig? I don't even know what. I don't even know what that is. What does that mean? It's a flare. It's an essential part of a safety system. Ah. The more you know. Yeah, there's a bit where you have to stop that from blowing up. It's a pretty nice set piece. And then there's also a sequence where you have to get Roy, your English pal, his insulin. Everything else you're tasked with is the most forgettable busy work possible. You move from room to room, turning valves, opening doors, and answering phone calls because someone else told you to. Strangely feeling almost like an entirely normal day on an oil rig. If you cut out the part where you have to run away from your mutated boss, who's now just a flying head.
Shut your gob, you dead prick!
If you discovered really anything as the story goes on, I wouldn't have any problems, like character development or lore, of which there isn't any. Let me clarify, there are readables in the game, just very few that provide much of any interest, that is relating to things like characters or lore. Everything else is a map or a sign. Nothing even about how a bloody oil rig works. I would have really enjoyed finding out how an oil rig works before inevitably blowing it up or sinking it into the ocean. But I didn't. And that annoys me. Okay, I like learning. We didn't even do any algebra. Why, I don't know, I blew myself away. You see that Jumbo Jenkins guy? Or the guy who rage quits like the big bad wolf? Oh yeah, that guy. A creative and spooky detail I need to give the game credit for is each monster is still named after the person they were before they turned into a giant tentacle lasagna. And that's not just an aesthetic choice, the monsters are effectively more emotional, Lovecraftian versions of their normal selves. And to me that smells like a fantastic storytelling tactic to make the player really feel for the monsters that they once knew so well. Except, you don't know them. Every named person you come across, which is quite a few, you meet once in the first 20 minutes of the game. Technically, I do know them, but that's only because I said hello as they were having their morning square sausage and I was quite upset that no one left any for me. Don't get me wrong, I wish you well, but I can't remember your name and you didn't give me a bit of your sausage, so if you turn into an eldritch being... Well, that sounds like second breakfast for me, pal. The game is very good at looking like it has mechanics. Oh, there's a fire and you need to use a fire extinguisher. Oh, you're cold and you need to heat up so you don't freeze to death. Oh, there's a fuse box and you need to replace a fuse. But none of these are anything more than one-button obstacles. There is no danger of freezing to death. There are just certain hallways of the rig in which you are destined to get cold, after which there is a conveniently placed heater in the only place it is required in the game. You do not need to find fuses, you go up to a fuse box and fix it instantly with one button. And fire extinguishers always lie directly next to fires and require no higher cognitive ability to work around. A magpie could do it. Which is no slant against magpies. Magpies are cool. The only things you get up to in Still Wakes the Deep are stealth, walking around and pressing the button prompts that appear in front of you. But I'm sorry, that might as well be navigating a menu. And I think in the year 2024, you can't really use that as a qualifier for, and I quote, 6 hours of terrifying gameplay. Importantly, it's not enough gameplay for me to keep caring about what's going on. None of it's engaging, and if it's not engaging, then it's boring. And if it's boring, I don't care about what I'm doing. And if I don't care about what I'm doing, I don't care about what's going on. And if I don't care about what's going on, well then why did you make it a video game in the first place? Just make it a visual novel. Which is a video game, but I don't know. Yeah, is a visual novel a video game? No, it's not. It's a graphic novel where you left click to turn the page. Come at me, don't care. I've got 1,000 subscribers now. I can fucking why? See that? That was my toe. I'm famous now. What are you gonna do? I made a community post and it got 6 likes. Fuck you, buddy. The appeal of video games is that they can use their interactivity to tell stories in a way that television cannot. In the imaginary Netflix version of this, there's no countless hallways our protagonist walks down for 5 minutes, turns a valve, shimmies along a ledge and then opens a door. You know why? Because that would be boring. So what do they do in film and TV? Well, they cut to the next scene, because there's nothing they can add to it. But video games usually add to it by putting in good gameplay. So if the video game isn't using video gaminess, all you're doing is losing my attention. There is one and only one nice mechanic I discovered, and it's that if you let go of the grip button while on a ladder, you can do the classic video game slide thing, and that was about it. You might hope that puzzle solving could split up the atmospheric wandering and occasional stealth sections, but they don't do that either. The height of puzzle solving in this game is being told to flip a switch, realising you can't flip that switch, finding a key to flip the switch, going back to the phone to be told to push a button, pushing that button, and then going back to the phone to find out what the button you just pushed did.
Looks like a fucking spaceship.
Or high-level spatial awareness puzzles like this. This is honestly as complex as the game gets. I have walked down a platform. There is something blocking my way. I go around it. I move the object out of the way. It's pretty much opening a door, but with an extra step. I don't get it. Credit where it's due, I respect the Chinese room for putting in an option where there's limited danger in the stealth. The atmosphere of having monsters nearby, but not an actual threat, is probably preferable due to how poor stealth in these type of defenceless horror games works. It's fairly well known amongst the stars of the genre like Soma and Amnesia that fear often completely evaporates because there's no chance at defense of overcoming anything. You are essentially playing red light green light with some spooky thing, so as soon as you die once, the fear is gone and has been replaced with frustration. The only bad thing that could have happened is the bad guy could have caught you, and he did. So now you just have to keep repeating that process until he doesn't. Right, I want to see him. No, I want to see... Oh, is that it? You kidding me? That's it? Oh, there's a seagull. A seagull. That's your death animation. You get a picture of a seagull. But even sweeping aside the naturally flawed gameplay cycle of, as I put it, defenceless horror games, the monsters of Still Wakes the Deep are thick as all dog shit and will stare at you through very obviously accessible holes and lament of how crafty a video game sneakster you are, before immediately forgetting you exist when you throw a Sports Direct mug past their face to the other end of the room. Such a shame considering 1. How much horror stealth the Chinese room could have stole from other video games, and 2. The unique construction of the somewhat melancholy monster friends we're put up against. Oh. The presentation is really where this game has wowed people, and I'm going to be bold here, maybe also tricked a lot of folk into looking past its many faults because of what the marketing was trying to sell you. Mainly a unique environment and fantastic voice acting that is delivered impeccably. It's a very handsome game. Character models, particularly at the start, look incredible. Don't get too used to it though, because the vast amount of conversations take place over telephone calls, which is a form of communication in which, fun fact, you cannot see the other person. We all know that, of course, because very famously, it was Margaret Thatcher who invented FaceTime. Considering the novelty of hearing great actors do a great job in my accent, saying slang that I understand,
You'll be alright, pal. Especially with the big man here looking out for you.
And referring to places that I have been to in real life.
You left it on a bench at Argyle Street.
Aye, you were that bloated you didn't even remember baking.
I know Argyle Street.
I'm probably being kinder to the game than I otherwise would have been. But I think back to one quote from Bryan Cranston many years ago.
I will always say this because an actor gets inspired through great writing. And an actor can only perform so much. If an actor got B-level material, working at his or her best, I do believe I could get it up a grade level. But if I got C-level material, you're getting a B out of me. That's as far as you can go. It really does take incredible writing. If you get A-level material, you treat it like the holy grail. It's like, oh my God, just don't screw this up. Oh my God. And Breaking Bad was like that.
That's what was churning in my head playing Still Wakes the Deep. And if you've ever seen Godzilla 2014, then you understand that, because holy shit, he was so good in that film, it made everyone else look embarrassing.
You're lying.
And that's what was churning in my head while playing Still Wakes the Deep. The story and experience altogether is, for me, maybe like a D. And while the cast do a great job, they can only knock it up one letter grade in the end. And what a shame too, I know how hard these people dig deep to put in a performance. But after it all, I just didn't care. Well, a ring at the telephone. That was a lot. I don't really feel like that moment was earned, but okay. And I can't help but feel a little bit bad when the heartfelt moments come, everybody's crying, and I'm sitting there picking my nose thinking, I should get McDonald's for dinner. That'd be a nice treat. Dearest walking simulator game enjoyers, respectfully. What? If Still Wakes the Deep had a truly incredible narrative, with world-class character development, pacing and a riveting plot, then I would get it, I really would. But it doesn't. It is absolutely okay. I have played many a game with better stories and fantastic gameplay, and have enjoyed TV shows and movies with much, much better stories, so what is it I'm missing? Dare I say though, if I knew this was a walking simulator, I would have probably still tried it, purely of the novelty of seeing my country, hell, specifically my city, represented so authentically in a video game. And also because that authenticity involves playing as a main character who says more than I do. An interesting 4.5 hours of my life gone. I won't lie, I am somewhat miffed I had to spend 26 of my own minimum wage pounds to experience it. But at least next time I see the Chinese room, I won't let those sexy working class Scottish accents trick me into another purchase. And you guys know how hard that accent is to resist. Like and subscribe, please like and subscribe. Still Wakes the Deep gets one working class ball bag, and a Lovecraftian art installation out of 10. And that was Still Wakes the Deep. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit nervous about putting out this video because I really didn't enjoy it. It was nearly £30 and I was not a happy chappy. But everywhere I looked, both critics and people alike just seemed to love it. Which is not to say I made this video to stir up shit. I only put all this effort into things that I want to talk about. And I didn't see anyone with the opinion that I had. And that makes you feel like you're going insane. I want to thank everyone for watching, and for my last video getting me over 1,000 subscribers. Yay! I don't have any fucking potpourri to throw around, but a milestone's a milestone, but I hope one day we can all look back and laugh at how ridiculous it was that I got excited at 1,000 subscribers now that I am, of course, the new Emperor God of planet Earth. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.